ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do. I mean, it is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky and be flooded with a cocky feeling and then feel like pretty cool and all that. Or I can make all kinds of phony things, you see what I mean, blinded by it. Or I can show you some really fancy movement. But to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, now that, my friend, is very hard to do, and you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving, and when you move, you are determined to move. Not taking 1 inch, not anything less than that. If I want to punch, I'm going to do it, man, and I'm going to do it, you see. So I mean, so that is the type of thing you have to train yourself into it, to become one with the, you think? I meant that as a joke, of course. And it's a heck of a name, man. I mean, every time I said it at that time, I was super conscious. I mean, really now, that's another interesting thing, huh? Let's say if you learn to speak Chinese.
Yeah.
And it's very, I mean, it's not difficult to learn and speak the word. The hard thing, the difficult thing, it's behind what is the meaning, what brought on the expression and feelings behind those words. Like when I first arrived in the United States, and I look at a Caucasian, and I really would not know whether he was putting me on, or is he really angry, because we have different way of reacting.
Of course.
See, those are the difficult things, you see. Well, you see, the title of that particular episode of Longstreet is called The Way of the Intercepting Fist. Now, I think the successful ingredient in it was because I was being Bruce Lee.
Yourself.
Myself, right. And did that part, just express myself, like I say, honestly express myself at that time. And because of that, I brought, you know, favorable mentioning in like New York Times, which says like the Chinaman who incidentally came off quite convincingly enough to earn himself a television series and so on and so on and so forth.
Can you remember the lines by Sterling Silliphant, the key lines?
He's one of my students, you know, right?
Was he too?
Yes.
Everybody.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. That was the original idea. Now, Paramount, you know, I did Longstreet for Paramount, and Paramount wants me to be in a television series. On the other hand, Warner Brother wants me to be in another one, but both of them, I think, they want me to be in a modernized type of a thing. And they think that Western idea is out, where
You want to do the Western, eh?
I want, because you see, I mean, how else can you justify all these punching and kicking and violence except in the period of the West? I mean, in nowadays, I mean, you don't go around on the street kicking people or punching people, because if you do, that's it. I mean, I don't care how good you are, you know. Unfortunately, you see, I hope that the picture I am in would either explain why the violence was done, whether right or wrong or whatnot, but unfortunately, pictures, most of them are done mainly just for the sake of violence. You know what I mean? Like, fighting for 30 minutes, get... Well, let me say this. First of all, the word superstar really turned me off, and I'll tell you why. Because the word star, man, is an illusion. It's something what the public calls you. You should look upon oneself as an actor, man. I mean, you would be very pleased if somebody say, hey, man, you are a super actor. It is much better than, superstar. I'm honestly saying this, okay? Yes, I have been very successful, okay? But I think the word star I do not look upon myself as a star. I really don't. I mean, believe me, man, when I say it. Do both, because you see, I have already made up my mind that in the United States, I think something about the Oriental, the true Oriental should be shown.
Hollywood sure as heck hasn't.
You better believe it, man. I mean, it's always the pigtail and bouncing around, chop, with the eyes slant and all that. And I think that's very, very out of... They were gonna make it into like a new Chinese James Bond type of a thing. Now that, the old man Chan is dead, Charlie is dead, and his son is carrying on.
But they didn't do that.
No. Batman came along, you see, because, and then everything was started to be going into that, that kind of a, Well, such question has been raised. In fact, it is being discussed, and that is why the Warrior is not going to be on.
I see.
You see, because unfortunately, such thing does exist in this world. You see, like, I don't know, certain part of the country, right, where like they think that business-wise it's a risk. And I don't blame them, I mean, in the same way it's like in Hong Kong, if a foreigner come and became a star, if I were the man with the money, I probably would have my own worry of whether or not the acceptance would be there. But that's all right, because if you honestly express yourself, it doesn't matter. See? The old man, like, how? I have been criticized for that.
Yeah.
Oh no, definitely. Well, let me say this. When I do the Chinese film, I'll try my best not to be as American as I, have been adjusting for the last 12 years in the States. But when I go back to the States, it seems to be the other way around. You know what I mean?
Exotic, eh?
Yeah, man. I mean, they're trying to get me to do too many things that are really for the sake of being exotic. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh, sure.
So it's really, I mean... Well, first of all, this happened before that.
Yeah.
But I do think that things of Chinese will be quite interesting for the next few years. I mean, not that I'm politically, inclining toward anything.
I understand that. I just wondering.
But I mean, once the opening of of China, you know. I mean, that it will bring more understanding, more things that are, hey, like different, you know. And maybe in the contrast or comparison, some new thing might grow. So therefore, I mean, it's a very rich period to be in. I mean, like if I were born, let's say, 40 years ago, if I have a thought in my mind, I said, boy, I'm going to star in a movie or star in a television series in America. Well, that might be a vague dream, but I think right now, maybe.
Do you still think of yourself Chinese, or do you ever think of yourself as North American?
You know what I want to think of myself? As a human being. Because, I mean, I don't want to sound like, you know, as Confucius say, but under the sky, under the heaven, man, there is but one family. It just so happened, man, that people are different. I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now, you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow, or it can crash in water, my friend.